Yeah. Oh boy. What's going on, everybody? It's Larry, and welcome to part 2 of our lake trout catch, clean, cook adventure. As promised, I'll be going over the gear and tactics we used in part 1, as well as prepare a couple of my favorite lake trout dishes. As always, please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Other than that, let's boogie. I've used the same rod to jig for Lakers for the last 2 years, and that is the Lew's Mach 2 spinning combo I purchased directly from the Lew's website in the spring of 2021. I've had next to no issues with smaller fish or larger fish on this rod, which is a 6-foot, 9-inch medium fast action rod. I have the matching Mach 2 reel spooled up with Power Pro High Vis Yellow 20-pound braid, which I have tied off to a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader with an FG knot. We really only drop one kind of lure, which are these Spro bucktail jigs. They come in all colors and sizes, but we really only use the 2-ounce option. We found they really aren't picky with the color. These soft plastics that are meant mainly for bass fishing are the finishing touch on this rig, and just about every tackle company out there makes something that will work for lake trout. Zoom has the Fluke and Super Fluke, Yum makes the Yum Pulse, and other brands like 13 and Guggen Squad all make viable candidates. I won't burn any spots in this video or any other, but I can definitely offer some friendly advice when it comes to chasing Lakers with a vertical jig. We fish for lake trout using this technique from mid-early July until early to mid-September when the lake begins to cool back off. I use my Navionics app to mark locations on the bottom where I want to fish, and those are deep water humps that peak anywhere from 70 to 100 feet below the surface. Going after these fish definitely takes time and effort, but they're out there and they're ready to put on a show, so go get after them. I think trout and just salmonids in general are some of the easiest fish to clean, and it starts by making a diagonal cut behind the gill plate and making a small vertical cut just before the tail. Start cutting at the head and cut down the spine towards the tail, staying above the ribs. Once you're past the ribs, push your knife all the way through ahead of the adipose fin and finish cutting towards the tail along the spine of the fish. Use a super sharp knife, but definitely be careful of your fingers. Those won't grow back. Go back up to where your last cut started and use the flex of the fillet knife to cut around the rib cage. You can also just blast through the ribs and take them off later, but I like removing them from the beginning. And then obviously flip the fish over and repeat the same process on the other side. I have these gallon bags to put the fillets in after they're all cut up, and I made the video black and white here because there's a lot of people that have a hard time finding out where their food comes from. Once all the fish are cut up and put back on ice, give your hands a good scrubbing, because it's time to cook. The first preparation of lake trout I'm going to show you is my smoked trout dip, which can be made with any oily fish in general. The brine is the sticky solution that the trout fillet will soak in before going in the smoker, and this allows the smoke to actually adhere to the fish itself. This is the brine I like to use for this recipe. Mix with cold water and thoroughly whisk all the ingredients together. Pour the brine into a gallon bag with the fish fillets in them and seal tightly. It's going to go back into the fridge for about an hour. Use this time while the fish is brining to prep the smoker. I'm using applewood chips here, but I've used cherry and hickory chips in the past. Let the chips roast and make sure the smoker is good and seasoned. After an hour, the smoker's at 200 degrees and it's time to put the fish in. I like to put the fillets on foil before I put them in the smoker. If you put the fillets directly on the rack, it'll make a pretty big mess. We'll come back to check on these in 1 hour. I like to leave a couple of containers of cream cheese out at room temperature while I prepare the remaining ingredients. After an hour, the fish in the smoker is done, so bring it back inside to cool off. While the fish is cooling, mix the cream cheese and other ingredients together in a large bowl. I also add lemon juice and cracked black pepper in this step. I'll use a fork here after the fish is cooled to get the meat away from the skin. Using the fork makes it easy to find any bones I might have missed while cleaning the fish. After one last good mixing, the dip is ready to go and tastes great with chips, on a bagel, or just plain sourdough toast. I have a pasta dish up next, and the first step is going to be to skin the fillet so we can send the trout through a meat grinder. To ease the strain on the motor, I cut the skinless trout into 1-inch cubes before we send them through the grinder.
Start it up. This is lit.
We'll send the trout through the grinder twice, once with the coarse bit and once with the fine bit. After that, it's time to make some meatballs, and I know everyone has their own different ways of going about that, but I like to use panko, which is a non-redneck word for breadcrumbs, a couple of eggs, some seasoning, and in this case that is sea salt, cracked black pepper, and Cajun spice. Once the meatballs are rolled out, get some hot oil in a saucepan and let them sizzle. While those are going, I'm going to get some water ready to boil off the pasta, and I chose this super thick fettuccine. Sprague also yelled at me saying all my Italian viewers are going to have a conniption over breaking the pasta here, so if that's you, feel free to sound off in the comments. For the sauce, I like to do a derivation of a traditional piccata, but instead of cooking down a roux of flour and butter, I'm going to thicken the sauce with heavy cream. I start by melting butter, then adding chopped garlic and capers. I like to add lemon zest, lemon juice, and a little dried dill weed as well. For the best result, I like to let the sauce finish reducing in the saucepan with the meatballs as they finish cooking. Add some fresh parsley and reduce heat to simmer. And just like that, the hard part is over. Now all that's left is to chow down. And what kind of culinary savant would I be if I didn't suggest that both of these dishes pair extremely well with an ice-cold Bud Light? Yeah, this is pretty delicious too. Well, there you have it, all the way from the islands of Lake Champlain to the island in your kitchen. That's just about everything I know about lake trout. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed this two-part event. I've got plenty of more content on the horizon, but until then, peace out.